How's it going? Welcome back to the shows. This is You Made Roscoe
Savage Moses.
and T together. We are here to bring you another dual show. This one is four
Back
crazy.
with the bird.
Yeah, no, I know. We back on it. We back on it. Somebody suggested that we check this out. This was four crazy stories that prove Larry Bird is the toughest player in NBA history.
I don't know about that one now. Hold on now. Hold on now.
That's a hell of a title. That's a hell of a title. We gonna see if
Say
that's
that we might be getting beside ourselves with that one. Hold
right, right,
on.
right. We gonna see if it's real. We gonna see if it's real.
The
But
toughest?
yeah, no, that's it.
The toughest.
That's saying a lot, brother.
Have they not seen Draymond? So they must have seen Draymond. Ready to stump somebody out.
Right. But before me and Savage jump into the proceedings, we would like to suggest and ask that everybody please make sure that you hit the sub button, hit the notification bell. Make sure that you do the same exact thing for whoever this is that we're getting this content from. I'm going to take a.
We've all heard the stories about Kobe Bryant.
Stop it. And who is this down here? It is Dom 2K. Is that who that is? So whoever Dom 2K is, enlarge that again. But yeah, no, support Dom 2K by going over to his stuff. I'm pretty sure he has more content just like that, showing more stuff like this. But we do have the person that suggested that we check this out. We want to give a shout out to that person too. Her name is Cindy Knutson. So Cindy Knutson.
And I'm Cindy.
Yeah. No, what's up, Cindy? Always cool to catch the lady fans, being supportive and all that. So Cindy, much love to you. We appreciate the fact that you suggested that we check this out. Much love to you, and we're gonna rock this out for you. So Savage, you ready to get it, man?
Yep.
All right, let's go ahead and start this up.
We've all heard the stories about Kobe Bryant, and most of us have actually seen with our own eyes how incredibly tough the guy was. Trying to play on a freshly sprained ankle to wheel the Lakers to the playoffs, winning the championship with a fractured finger, he's got a great case for being the toughest player in NBA history. But then there's Larry Bird, and many people don't know it, but he might have been equally as tough, if not tougher than Kobe Bryant when it came to pain tolerance. Bird was such a warrior that he often didn't even like to let the team staff know he was hurt. That is until later in his career when his back had deteriorated to an unbearable point. And because Bird was such a warrior, today I want to tell you guys 4 crazy stories about Larry Bird's insane level of toughness. What's up, NBA fans? Dom 2K on the mic, and you've probably seen the shots of Larry Bird torturing himself later in his career when his back was forcing him into retirement, but you might not know what allowed him to deal with that pain in the first place. It turns out Larry was dealing with physical ailments even before he entered the league. Before he'd ever played a game with the Celtics, he actually had his knuckle shattered by a baseball that put his professional career in jeopardy. But because he's Larry Bird and Larry Bird is from a different planet, he was able to put together a top 10 NBA career despite not ever having the same shooting touch before he shattered his knuckle. Wrap your mind around that for a second. Larry Bird accomplished everything he did in his career, and he said out of his own mouth that he never had the same feel for the basketball after the knuckle injury. But as it turns out, that's just an appetizer compared to what he'd endured throughout his career. Let's jump into it.
No. Well, I just want to stop it for because this is kind of this just expands on kind of the video that we did the last time.
Right.
Where we talked about. So some of this stuff is going to be stuff that we already heard, like that finger injury for one. But I'm pretty sure they're gonna bring up some other stuff.
Yeah, I ain't hear shit about it. I didn't know he cracked his knuckles though. That one slipped past me.
Yeah, they didn't mention a whole knuckle thing. They talked about
baseball though. What the fuck he doing playing baseball?
Yeah, no, these guys, and not just Bird, but a lot of these players from that era, they was getting drafted. They was getting drafted in multiple.
Yeah, they were trying to get it anywhere they could. I see.
Yeah, like a couple of these guys got drafted by like the NHL and the NFL and the MLB all at the same time and stuff like that. So that wasn't like rare like that. You know what I mean? Like Bird had a teammate. What was his name? Danny Ainge. He got like drafted by I think by baseball, by MLB before he even got to the NBA. So you had a lot of that going on. But let's keep this going.
I figured we'd start off with something crazy we've seen before. Remember when Russell Westbrook fell down after his free throw and got a hole kicked in his jaw? Yeah, that left a lot of us wondering if Westbrook was actually Android a human, because he got up, moved his mouth around a little bit, and finished up what was left of the game. Luckily for him, that was only about 1 second of game time. However, it turns out that 33 years earlier, Larry Bird actually had already accomplished this superhuman feat, and surprisingly, he did Westbrook one better. I originally thought there wasn't footage of this on YouTube, but I'm so thankful there was, because you need to witness how brutal this was. In a 1982 game against the Milwaukee Bucks, Larry Bird drove left to the basket and tried to bank in a routine jump shot. It clanked off the rim, Bird went up to rebound his own miss, and was violently elbowed by power forward Harvey Catchings. Where Westbrook's injury was an accident by his own teammate that didn't even look too bad initially, it's a bit difficult to look at this footage and say it wasn't on purpose, and you actually cringe a bit when you see how hard the shot was. The elbow practically knocked Bird out and left him lying on the floor for several minutes as he looked seriously injured. From what I can tell in the tape, the injury appeared to happen before the end of the third quarter, because Larry Bird went back to the locker room and came back out before the period had ended. In the fourth quarter, playing with what we now know was a fractured zygotic arch, Bird would score 8 more points, including a poster dunk, 2 assists, adding some defense and hustle plays, as he was even shoved out of bounds during one of the possessions. His efforts led the Celtics to a narrow win, as he finished with 16 points, meaning he scored half of them with a fractured arch in crunch time, and even though we can't see it on the grainy 80s footage, Bird's jaw was depressed inward the same way Westbrook's was. After Larry left his heart on the floor for his team, he was sent to the hospital, where doctors had to drill a hole into the side of his face and insert a medical tool to pop his zygotic arch back out. If social media had have been around with clear footage back in these days, this performance would probably be a lot more famous. We were shocked to see Westbrook standing on his own with a hole in his face. Imagine watching Larry Bird play an entire extra quarter while leading his team to the win. Number 3.
Wait, fuck the flu game. This nigga had the the hole in your face game. Like, bro.
Damn.
Like, man, what you got to say about that? You playing with a hole in your face, bro?
I mean, probably so, because when I think about that type of injury, that's like a bam, fast. Once that adrenaline still pumping, yeah, the hole in your face, but you can't really feel that shit. Probably till you got to the hospital or the game was over. Then when they trying to pop that motherfucker out, now you feel it. Right. But I think in game, it probably wasn't nothing really.
Yeah. I suppose, and these dudes, they was built different. It ain't like now. I think
it was taking elbows and punches to the face at least 2 or 3 a night.
Yeah. So
that one just left a mark. He probably didn't even notice it at first.
until he fell on the ground.
Yeah, on the bus they got on the back on the bus. Hey, Bird, what the fuck is that? What's happened to your face?
Did your face pushed in, bro? He actually got his shit pushed in. He got it.
Literally.
Yeah. Well, we can keep it going.
Just give me a beer. It's understandable that Larry dealt with injuries like back problems and broken bones in the face. Those things just tend to happen when you're crashing into the floor and whatnot. But when Larry Bird had a toe infection, it really seemed like somebody was just testing how much he could take before he finally sat out a game. In the year 1985, Bird reportedly had a serious pain going on in his toe for 3 weeks that he played on, and he wouldn't bother to get it checked out because, again, he didn't like to let anybody know he was hurt. Finally, he let the doctor look at his foot, to which it would be found that Bird had a toe infection that would require his toe to be cut so the infection could drain. The doctor insisted that Bird take a shot of Novocaine to ease the pain, because the infection was actually between his toes, which was obviously gonna hurt a lot. And then Bird responded, "Just give me one of those beers over there." So he used that as his pain medication. The doctor cut 2.5 inches into his toe to let the infection drain. Larry wrapped up the foot and played the exact same night. Unfortunately, I can't find any kind of information on when this game was, who it was against, or anything like that. I can't even see how he performed. But when he got done with the game, the wrap was obviously soaked in blood, and he was in considerable pain during the game. If it's anything like the other ridiculous games Bird had after some kind of injury that should have had him sitting for days, it's safe to say he performed well. But the fact that he played with a 2.5 inch cut into his toe with no pain meds is impressive enough for me. Number 2, double vision.
And they say they ain't even got no footage of that one
so
game.
he played drunk. That's what I got.
They got rid of the paperwork. That's why ain't no footage of it. You know what I mean? Because the nigga was drunk.
They weren't trying to expose too much. He said, "Give me a bit." That one bit probably turned to 3 more by the time the game started.
Right. They said, "No, we got to lose this footage, bro. They can see you turned up. They see you turned up out here, bro. We ain't gonna have the footage of this game. We gonna conveniently lose this, you know. But we can check out this next one. Yeah, push it back a second.
Number 2, double vision. A lot of people can't even shoot when there's just one basket sitting still, so imagine trying to play in a professional game when you fractured your eye orbiter and you're seeing 2 baskets. Now the injury itself sounds pretty comparable to what Derrick Rose had not too long ago, the difference here being that Rose got hurt before the season and was able to get his problems to a manageable point before playing in a real game. Bird, however, would not be so lucky. In a 1988 game against the Cavaliers, Bird was on fire, having scored 13 points in the first quarter, but when he spun away from Craig Elo with a clear lane to the basket, Del Curry of all people would rotate and hit Bird with a violent elbow to the side of his face. Kind of ironic that before Del was raising the greatest shooter of all time, he was apparently trying to take out the best one of his generation. Anyways, Bird sustained a fractured eye orbiter that again kept him on the floor for minutes. He went on to the locker room for treatment, came back out like he had done 6 years earlier, only this time he would score 18 more points to put the finishing touches on a 31-point game that included 5 rebounds, 3 assists, and 4 steals on 11 of 20 shooting. But the stats weren't even the most impressive part. According to Larry, he played the rest of this game with double vision, and as he described it, he saw 2 baskets for the rest of the game, leaving him to guess which one he had to shoot at. But that's not the best part either. Not only did he light Cleveland up, but we know double vision doesn't go away after one game. As we've already established, if there was any other option than to sit a game out, that's what Bird was going to do. He ended up playing 4 more games with goggles that I'm not even sure anybody really knew he wore, and in those games, he scored 36, 30, 28, and 34 points. In typical Larry Bird fashion, he shot a staggering 55% from the field with that. Violent elbow, fractured eye orbiter, goggles, elite scoring, hitting on over half of his field goal attempts. Again, he's Larry Bird, and Larry Bird is from another planet. Just to add some gore to the story, apparently after the Cleveland game where he initially broke the orbiter, he noticed his nose bleeding after the game. He went to blow it and his eye bulged out a bit. Just a typical day in the life of Larry Bird, I guess. Number 1.
Oh my goodness. That was bad. that was pretty bad.
I ain't never seen no pictures or no highlights or nothing with the goggles Larry though. So that's right. Something new too.
Yeah. I think I remember that because I definitely would have had to been watching if this is around like 88. You know, I was definitely watching ball at that time. But yeah, I like barely remember the goggles, but I kind of do. But yeah, no, that was a messed up play. And that was a good Cleveland team too. Like I remember that team that they had, and they was loaded.
Who they had?
They had Brad Daugherty was dope, was a dope center. They had Hot Rod, the one it looked like who hit him in the eye. He was their 6th man off the bench. He was a good like center power forward dude. They point guard Mark Price was dope as hell. They had Ron Harper when he was, you know, the one that was with the Bulls winning championships. But Ron Harper was the real Ron Harper back then. Like
he was a beast.
Yeah, like he was like scoring like crazy, and his leaping ability was stupid. So that was the real Ron Harper. But yeah, not like everybody on their team, damn, like they had a good ass team. I remember them days, but yeah, Bird disposed of them. And that was slight work to your bad, you know, but we can keep it going. So, sorry about that, everybody. We can keep this going.
You hear all this talk about Celtic pride anytime we speak about the history, and Larry Bird contributed in big part to that as his career was wrapping up. Possibly the most famous scene from the ending of his career is the one we've all seen. Larry was diving for a loose ball, goes crashing to the floor as his head bangs against it violently, and he just lays there as if his body couldn't take it anymore. Truth be told, it really couldn't. Bird was dealing with insane back issues by this point in his career, and it was through sheer determination that he was even playing by this point. However, the story behind this scene is that not only was Bird's back locking up on him, but the shot he took to the head actually knocked him unconscious for a second and left him with a concussion that threatened to keep him out of the rest of an elimination Game 5 against the Pacers. By this point, Larry was 34 years old and had missed 22 games throughout the season, and his best days had been stripped from him by an ever-deteriorating back. He sat in the locker room debating whether to go back into the game as Boston had lost their edge without him, and most of the way through the third quarter, the advantage was with the Pacers. When Larry asked the doctor for advice, he said he should be done for the day, but by this point, we all know Larry just wasn't built like that. He was still breathing, so he went back into the game with the Celtics down by 3, while they were being cracked over the head by Chuck Persons, I might add. With Bird back in the game, Boston would go on a ridiculous 33-14 run and went on to win the game by 3 points, sending the Pacers home for the playoffs. Bird finished with 32 points, 9 rebounds, and 7 assists while shooting 63% from the field. But again, that's not the most shocking part of this story. According to teammates like Robert Parrish, when Bird hit the floor, they weren't sure he was ever going to play again. Remember that this happened at the end of Bird's career, and after back surgeries and having to lay in a fiberglass brace for hours just to be well enough to play, some thought that the fall he took meant the end of his career. And it probably would have been if Larry Bird was from Earth, but instead he went out and put up one of the most memorable playoff performances of all time, the kind of performance that really makes you sad that his career was really cut short by injury. So there you have it. These were 4 crazy stories that prove Larry Bird was likely the toughest player of all time. The crazy part about it, after reading the book he wrote with Magic Johnson and researching a little bit, I could have easily told 10 or more. The truth that people don't really talk about in terms of Larry is that despite his amazing career, it was truly only a shell of what he could have been. As early as 1985, only 6 years into Larry Bird's career, he was already experiencing back issues that resulted from him doing concrete work around his house that he could have paid someone else to do. But that's just who Larry was, an incredibly hard worker that prided himself on being the same type of soldier his father was. Larry cherishes a story about his father when he came home one day from work and had a busted ankle. The next day, the ankle was so bad that Larry had to help him put the shoe on, and his father went right back to work. It was the kind of example that led Larry to play through the ridiculous pain he began to experience really only a short way into his career. Bird played a total of 13 of the most memorable seasons any NBA player could produce, but imagine one of our modern stars only lasting 13 years. LeBron is already on his 14th campaign, Durant is already on his 10th, but what if those guys only played to 13 though? That's just for perspective of what a flash Bird's career really was. And we're lucky that for that short amount of time, he had the high pain tolerance that he did, because if he was actually human and sat out those games that anybody else would have sat out, we would have likely seen even less of him. So in conclusion, I think Bird is proof that there is life outside of Earth, and we really aren't alone. Somewhere out there is the planet Larry Bird came from, where there's extraterrestrial life that apparently doesn't feel any type of pain. Shatter their face, knock them out, just give them a few minutes and they're right back on their feet ready to play. And if they're generous enough, maybe they're gonna send another one like Larry to Earth to play in the NBA in the future. But if that doesn't happen, I'm very happy that Larry Bird was a part of NBA history. So I hope you enjoyed the video, I hope you learned something. Leave your favorite Larry Bird story in the comment section because I'm pretty sure you guys have some. If you enjoyed the video, like, comment, and subscribe. Hit the bell next to my name if you want notifications on my video. I'm Dom2K and I'll see you guys on the next one. Thanks for watching.
I don't know what you think about that.
Huh?
I said, I don't know what you think about that.
I mean, those are, like I said, a lot of stories that I pretty much have heard, already. And
I ain't had none of them.
yeah, no, it
But
do.
to make you the toughest, come on now.
See, this is my thing. If they, he said it early in the video. I think there's a different type of toughness that he's talking about. He talking toughness as far as pain tolerance.
Yeah, resilient and
So if you talking that, then I can accept that. If he was talking tough as far as who are the tough guys in NBA history, then that would have been a whole nother story. Like we got to start with people like Charles Oakley, and you know what I mean, and work our way around. But if you're talking pain tolerance, then him. They already named Kobe. It's been maybe a few other guys. I know Jordan. He did that a bit. But guys from that era, a lot of guys from
I'm
that.
about to say shit, but back then that shit was normal. Everybody at least had one injury a game.
dude. I just remember the Bird had a teammate, Gerald Henderson. This dude played with a broken neck. Yeah,
Right, so what's we talking about? Like injuries came back. That's what's making you tough now. Like everybody was injured back then. Niggas getting punched on.
Right. This dude went out there with a neck brace on. You know what I mean? Like the whole joint, not the soft joint, but the plastic, the hard plastic joint. You know what I mean?
Cone head out there. They put the cone on the cat, so they put a cone on his ass.
Right. So I think Bird. I think Bird was a victim of, just like a lot of people from his era, like they parents told them all these crazy tough man stories. Like, man, when I was young, we walked 30 miles to school, and that type of stuff. You know what I mean? So them kids thought that they had to be tough like they dads. Like my dad used to work till he'll work 20 hours out of a 24-hour day. You know what I mean? That type of stuff. And then he'll come home and do gravel in front of that type of stuff. So I think those people, they just felt like they had to hold to that same standard. I think as the generations kept going, people just got softer and softer a little bit, and it just was what it was. People didn't have to do the same type of stuff. So
I think it's a little bit of mixed with like a never give up situation mixed with politics, because back then the players was even looked at differently. Even if a player try to have that type of mentality now, they're not gonna let you go out there and play through certain shit, even long as they know it's there. Like, because they looking at it like, okay, you are investment. This is a regular game. You don't give a fuck about playing. But we just spent 170 million, nigga. Go sit down. Right? Actually, if you touch the ball, you fined and suspended. So it's a totally different game now. It's some on the players too. They be like, oh, I'm gonna take a rest day this day, but it's actually the politics behind this shit. Like, they not gonna let motherfuckers do certain shit. And just like with the type of fouls and stuff they calling and the technicals and kicking people out the game, like it's way more put in place to protect their investment, I'll say.
You man, again, you couldn't have said it more perfect, bro. Like that's exactly kind of the difference in the money difference.
Yeah,
is what does, because these guys from they didn't make the same type of money, so if they don't stay out there and play through broken necks,
it's valued as much.
Yeah, I mean, and somebody ready to take your place.
Yeah,
that's what they scared of. You know what I mean? It's like, dude, if I ain't out there, there's another somebody coming.
You could replace 3 mil before you replace 200 mil.
Yeah, exactly. And so you right about the fact that they just protecting their investment now, and like the team is saying, like, regardless of whatever you want to do, dude, man, sit down. We got it in your contract that you better sit down. You know. So yeah, no, you hit it right on the head. But I guess I'll just, I'll throw up a thumb. This ain't really about that, but I liked it. Savage, it looked like he in the same boat. But we finna leave. But before we get up out of here, like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell, hit the share button, hit the playlist option on my page. You'll find this in basketball highlights and sports react. That's 2 different playlists on my page. And then Savage, he'll let you know on his page where to find it.
Must-see videos, you feel me? Just go ahead. It should be on the homepage as soon as you tap in with it.
Word. So you'll find either my version or his version on either of the pages. Support both. You know what I mean? Like, this is a joint effort, all the way around. Like me and Savage, we plan on doing a lot of big things as time goes. So, these are just the beginning stages. These are our baby steps right now. So, we definitely plan on getting bigger and better as we go. But yeah, support both. But I do have playlists for a lot of different things on my page. The same with Savage on his page. on mine's, just go through all of the playlists. That's it. And let Savage take it from here, to let you know what to do with all the rest of it.
I just want to put out there, if y'all got any other players, specifically basketball, or it could be another sport, but since we on basketball, I'll just say basketball right now. Any other players y'all want us to tap into, old school or new school? If they got some stories, funny clips, amazing highlights that you want to look at. If you know the name of the video, hit the comment section, or if you know the player, just hit the comment section and let us know. We can always keep this rolling.
Yeah, no, we could do this all day. Like, it don't matter the player, the sport, whatever. And of course, the siren is going to pop up right now. I'm going to take an invisible shot, because that's what, customary. So get rid of throw it against the wall. There we go. All right. But Cash App, $, you made Roskoe, $, Savagemosesgaming, PayPal is at You Made Roskoe, and then Savage's PayPal is at Savagemosesgaming, and you could go to either of those spots. Of course, the super thanks option is available, and that's for those who like to show their support or appreciation for what's being done on the pages. Any donations will be made to any of those spots, and that's all I have to say for right now. Savage, anything you want to throw out there before?
No, appreciate everybody coming through. Shout out to the Savage Nation. Make sure to hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't, turn on post notifications, and we're gonna catch y'all on the next one. Peace.
I spent the light 10. I got the pipe in, gon' spin a block, no type in. I just want the face like we Skype in. Can't cut no hoe, they be trifling. This is one night stand.